My name is Sonal Chandalia. I'm the Chief Nutritionist and Diabetes Educator at Dr. Chandalia's Diabetes Endocrine Nutrition Management and Research Center. Hello friends, if you are a person who has type 2 diabetes or type 1 diabetes, it is important to understand how your medical nutrition therapy should be designed for you. So when you visit a healthcare professional, you need to get an education on the nutrition education part of it, where it should cover the food groups. You should know what your standard diet format that has been given to you and some behavioral modifications. See here in this visual that there is a food pyramid. This food pyramid is showing you at the base that there is an entire group of fruits and vegetables which is to be eaten in the largest quantity. And then you have the next group, which is your cereals and pulses, which is to be eaten in a lesser quantity compared to vegetables and fruits. Third you have is the milk and milk products and the meats. And at the apex, you have the sugar and the fats. So this food pyramid essentially is also telling you what are the portions that you should eat per day from each of the food groups. Because these food groups are giving you the macronutrients like carbohydrate, protein, fat, and the micronutrients like vitamins and minerals. So essentially, when you see the first food group, which is of fruits and vegetables, we find that we need to eat this in plenty, eat it as much fresh and raw. It's giving you the micronutrients that you need, as well as you find that it is very helpful when there is diabetes with hypertension. Only you have to take caution if there is a potassium restriction on you in your food or in your diet, then you need to make sure that you leach out green leafy vegetables and then you use it. The next group in the pyramid is cereal and cereal products, pulses, dals and legumes. This essentially gives you the carbohydrate as well as certain quality protein, which is a vegetarian source. It also gives you the dietary fiber that is needed, just like the vegetables and fruits. So the recommendation for you usually is to go for more carbohydrates which are complex, which you get mainly in cereals, cereal grains, pulses, legumes, and as well as you get it in certain vegetables. So once you have that combination, you're getting the right quality of protein, the right quality of carbohydrate. Now, luckily in our culture, we do use cereal pulse combinations, and that's why we enhance the protein quality of our meals, as well as you will find that you will be having meals which will have a low glycemic index and not raise the sugars very quickly. Processed and refined foods or cereals and pulses, etc. are quite avoidable because they not only lack dietary fiber, but they may have high sodium and they may have a high glycemic index, so they don't really work well for your sugar controls. Now we go on to the milk and milk products, and you find that essentially it is giving the high biological value protein, which you need to include. At least 50% of your protein intake should be from this group. But you want it to be of the lean kind, so you don't want the fat with it or the saturated fat with it. So it should be where you are cutting out the saturated fat, where you have a skim version of the particular milk or milk product. And if there is any lactose intolerance that you might face, then you might opt for maybe curd or buttermilk over milk, because it will give you the same quality protein. Overall, you must opt for finally more of skim products so that you cut out the saturated fat which may directly hit your cholesterol. Now, when we consider the group of meat, poultry, eggs and eggs products, you'll find that we're looking at basically asking you to take mainly the lean meats. That means certain cuts like chicken without the skin, which may be the chicken breast or leg. Then certain fish, which may be fatty fish, which has the omega-3 can be included. And only the seafood or may be avoidable if a person has also hypertension. And because sometimes it is high in cholesterol, but it may be low overall in fat. But these can be worked in the diet depending on the hyperlipidemia, or if you have any high cholesterol, they need to be worked in effectively. Now, once that is understood, we also need to know that egg is quite a high biological value protein, in fact, one of the best. And so if you are a lacto-ovo-vegetarian, you can consume egg whites. You avoid the egg yellow completely because that has cholesterol. The egg white can be used quite widely through your day and through the entire week. And you can include it as a breakfast or as even protein dinner option when you want. So eggs work very well, and especially the egg white. So while we're thinking about this, we also need to think about the apex of the pyramid. It's talking about sugar, sweets and desserts, which are supposed to be had in the smallest quantity because it's giving you mainly simple sugars and which may actually increase your blood sugars. So that is why it's important to have it in minimum amount. But fats, oils and nuts, which is also in the apex, you must remember that you need to have the kindly fat or the heart-friendly fat. So usually when it is recommended, you must know that what should be included in your diet plan is that you're actually having 1 teaspoon of saturated fat in the form of either ghee or butter, and the remaining the oil that is recommended for you as cooking oil should mainly come from the group called monounsaturated fats, which for example are like olives, olive oil, mustard, canola, groundnuts, sesame seed. All these will help because they are heart friendly and they are known to improve the lipid profiles. So it is something that should be included. The main thing to include nuts, where you mainly have the walnuts which give you omega-3. So in case even if you are trying to lose weight because there is obesity with diabetes, remember that yet 1 teaspoon of ghee or butter per day, as well as having walnuts which are rich in omega-3 is included even in that diet which has lower calories. This will go a long way in maintaining your lipid profile better, and also the kind of weight loss that you have will be the correct kind of weight loss, and you will still retain the right fats that are required by your body. Another very important point to remember is not only about the food groups, but the methods of cooking that you use. So we know that there are traditional fats, which is the unrefined oils which are used, which is the kachi ghani tel that we get. Now that can be used, but you have to get it from the right source. So that is a good option. But remember that we do not want you to heat that and do prolonged cooking in that, because you're denaturing that oil, creating carcinogens, and instead of your diet being more antioxidant, you're creating more free radicals in your diet, which is undesirable. What we want you to do is avoid processed fats, because the high intake of processed fats leads to more heart issues, more vascular diseases, and mainly these are more highly refined oils or partially hydrogenated fats like vanaspati. Now these tend to get converted into free radicals and they cause more damage, hence they are avoidable. So finally, once if you know your food groups and you've understood it, what are we trying to achieve here? What kind of diet plan for a person with diabetes and for maybe for yourself or for a relative in the family? Now you may find that you need to really consider what is a balanced diet. A balanced diet will have both the animal source of foods and the plant source of foods. It will cover all the nutritional requirements that you need, and it will cover all the food groups also that are essential. It may include usually seasonal and traditional foods to some extent. It should be palatable and give you the satiety. Now, in a person with diabetes, when you're doing a nutrition management, your diet should follow these rules. It should be a balanced diet in spite of you trying to lose weight or even trying to get glycemic control. We do not want fad diets to come in the picture because they really don't help long term and tend to do damage. So we would advise that follow a prudent diet. A prudent diet will be one that you will make sure that you follow a 2+3 rule. You will ensure that you will have certain foods which are at the base of the pyramid, as we saw earlier, which are fruits and vegetables in your diet. Yes, a person with diabetes type 2 who is well controlled can have almost 2 portions of fruit a day. So that is to be taken into consideration. It all depends on your glycemic control. So you must have at least 2 portions of fruits a day if you are advised so and you are in good glycemic control, and also vegetables which we want raw and fresh in the salad form. This particular combination works very well because it gives you a lot of antioxidants, and that helps in keeping an antioxidant diet for you. And when you have diabetes and other conditions with it, it completely will help in providing that antioxidant environment that you'll need and keep it more heart friendly. So usually when a standard diet plan is given to you, it should be one which is customized as per your cultural preference. If there are some foods that should be avoided, they should be replaced with better options. Your diet also should be highly individualized when it's given. Depending on your body weight, depending on your activity, it would be increase in calories or reduce and given to you and planned. And a standard diet format in the form of a menu plan so that it is very easy for you to follow through the day. So when you're given a diet prescription which will be a standard plan, you should ensure that it is a standard menu plan which will mainly cover all your 3 main meals, the snacks that have to be incorporated, and including the bedtime snack because you do not want hypoglycemia. So a person with diabetes should ensure that from their nutritionist or from their healthcare professional, they do get a plan which is very easy to follow. It is on the basis of the cooked weight, so you know exactly how much to eat, and it is a well-planned one and not a fad diet. So when your diet plan is being actually prescribed to you, please ensure that you share with your healthcare provider if you have any food allergies, whether you have certain cravings at certain time of the day or any kind of binge eating that may be happening, because this will help plan that diet prescription far more effectively for you. But you do need to remember that there are certain habits, those behavioral changes have to be made, where in the case of consumption of alcohol, it may be only allowed, if allowed by a medical professional or the diabetologist that you're allowed, it may be social drinking, then it would be limited to 2 small pegs. Also, the main thing to remember is never to drink on an empty stomach, and there has to be accompanied starters or appetizers which are not fried, because you have to consider the caloric intake. Also, for smoking or tobacco chewing, there has to be complete cessation and needs to be stopped, because it is highly detrimental to your entire system. So keeping this in mind, friends, you will find that besides the diet prescription, there is also just one more component I'd like to allude to, which is exercise. So if you consider your own lifestyle, the diet and exercise goes hand in hand, and exercise has to be also undertaken along with the diet to make sure that your prescription of diet or medical nutrition that is given to you is very effective. Because when you follow both together side by side, they work synergistically to provide you the final effect and the best outcome, and also to help you not only manage your glycemic control, but maybe also in hyperlipidemia, in hypertension, and if there is any weight management that needs to be looked into.